So today's presentation is why you're not losing weight. Now, I do want to just make sure that we're quite clear that body weight is just one metric and it doesn't take into account the different elements of the body and what it's made up of. So you obviously have body fat, you have muscle, you have water, you have bones, you have organs, etc. And just because you aren't losing weight doesn't mean that your body isn't changing. And I see this quite a lot with clients who, when they first start working with me, may not lose any weight for a few weeks. And that's fine because you're learning to eat a more nutritious meal and a way of eating more nutritiously every single day. So sometimes it takes a little while for it to sort of kick in. So don't worry. The way I always describe it is, well, if you're not putting weight on, you're doing okay. So just keep doing that, and we can make more adjustments as we go on. We'll sort of make improvements. Hi, Sakis. Thanks for joining. So as you lose weight, you're usually eating a more nutritious diet. With the weight that you lose, you might also find that you have more energy. So it's quite likely that you're going to be doing a little bit more exercise, which may be just walking. It may be doing some resistance exercise, maybe doing some swimming or some sports or something. So it might actually be the reason why you're not losing weight is because you're gaining muscle. And the only way to tell that is to either do a body fat composition measurement or to measure your belly or measure your limbs to see if they are changing in size. Because although a pound of muscle and a pound of fat is the same weight, muscle is much, much more dense. So it will be much smaller on your body. So your clothes will be starting to fit better, but the scales might not show any difference. And that's usually quite commonly because of muscle gain. The next one is retaining water. So as you change what you eat, your body goes through a kind of rebalancing, and often things that are going on inside just don't show up on the scales. Now, you might be also retaining more water due to these changes that are going on inside your body. So one of the things I recommend to clients that may be going through this is to try cutting out salt from your diet or salty foods. So if you're having anything that's been fermented in salt, then that might be a good idea to cut that out for a while, just for a few days to see if it's that. Making sure that you're drinking plenty of water and just give it a little bit of time. If you're still doing that and you still haven't lost any weight after a couple of days, it's probably something else. But as long as you're not gaining, you're probably on the right track. Another reason can be excess or fluctuating carb intake. So when we eat carbs, they can retain 4 times as much water as when you eat protein or fat. So if you have a cheat day and you enjoy pizza and cookies and ice cream and all those good, lovely, delicious things that we just know are not good for us, then you may put on some temporary weight. Now, I don't want you to worry, because even if you put on a couple of pounds, that's not 2 pounds of fat that you've magically put on overnight. It takes time to convert that food into fat. It's pretty much guaranteed. It's just going to be excess water again from the extra carbs. So just have a day or two of a low carb diet or cutting out the carbs for a day. And again, drink plenty of water to flush out the excess water and the excess salts that you might have in your system. And again, the weight will probably drop off as quickly as it came on. And another reason is don't rely on one measurement. If you're measuring your weight on your bathroom scales and all it does is measure weight, then also think about measuring around your belly, as I talk to a lot of people about. Measure around your belly, around your belly button with a tape measure, and use that as another metric, because sometimes your weight may not change, but your belly size will change. Now, do bear in mind, belly size is usually quite a slow change. You're looking at about maybe a centimeter in 6 to 8 weeks. So it takes some time. But think about how well your clothes fit. Do they feel better fitting? Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more comfortable in yourself? And think about taking some progress pictures. Now, I know a lot of my clients really hate taking progress pictures, but they do really work. You might not see it, but when you take an old picture and a new picture and you put them together, it's much, much easier to see the difference between where you were and where you are. And I normally get my clients to take a picture every 4 to 6 weeks, because that's usually enough for you to actually be able to see a difference. Another reason why you're not losing weight, snacks are your ruin. So if you're feeling a bit peckish in between meals, try a healthier snack like roasted chickpeas, which I have a recipe for. If you want that, just put it in the comments that you want the roasted chickpea recipe, and I will send that over to you. Hummus, huge favourite of mine. Again, chickpeas, but obviously they're blended with some olive oil, lemon juice, and other flavourings. Makes a fantastic hearty snack. Have that with crudité or vegetable sticks. It really does make it feel like it's much more substantial than just having a little bit of hummus. Another great snack is a small handful of nuts, because although nuts are a very, very good source of good fats, it's still fat. So you do need to be careful, I'm afraid. Most of my clients also find that as they improve their nutrition with each meal, they find that their cravings for snacks just reduce significantly. They're not they don't have that craving because they're getting enough protein, they're getting enough fiber from the vegetables, and yeah, they're getting enough carbs, but good quality, low GI, those slow release carbs usually stop you from actually wanting to have snacks anyway. So try the healthier snacks and ultimately improve your nutrition for each meal, and you'll probably find you don't need those snacks anyway. The fear of hunger or feeling a low, like a sugar low or a crash. Many, many, many clients of mine have just developed this fear of hunger, of being hungry. And it's almost like a post-traumatic stress disorder where they're so paranoid that if they don't eat enough now or they don't take snacks with them, they're going to be hungry. The world is going to end if that happens. And when they work with me for a while, they often sort of express surprise that once their nutrition is on track, they find themselves feeling a little bit hungry just before their next meal. And I sort of explained to them, this is normal. This is what you're supposed to feel. You are supposed to get hungry before you're about to eat. That's normal. And if you're eating the right nutrition at your main meals, you won't get a sugar low. You won't feel weak. You'll just feel a little bit hungry when it's time for you to eat. And this is a really, really good one. Not getting enough protein. One of the reasons why you're not losing weight is you're not getting enough protein. Protein is one of the best sources you can use for losing weight or gaining muscle. And chances are you're probably not getting enough in it because we can't store protein. Once it's eaten, it goes around your system for a bit and then it's just flushed out. And protein is so important if you have a specific goal, like losing weight or gaining muscle. And so most of the clients I work with, they're just not getting enough. And especially in their breakfast, just by adding a good quality protein in your breakfast, making that small change, my clients have had fantastic results. Another reason why you're not losing weight is you're eating until you're over full. We often get used to the feeling of being stuffed after eating. And this can be made worse by people that eat quickly or are distracted whilst they're eating, or they're just mindlessly eating. So either watching TV or there's just a bowl of something in front of you and you're just shoveling the food in. Now it takes about 20 minutes for your body to notice that you're getting full, to release the appropriate chemicals to tell you that you're feeling full. 20 minutes it takes. So just think how quickly you can eat a meal in 20 minutes. Most people probably finish their meal easily within 20 minutes. So slow down. Put your knife and fork down between bites. Have a sip of water. Actually think about the food that is on your plate. Look at it. Look at what it looks like. Think about how it feels on your knife and fork, maybe in your hands or in your mouth. What does it feel like? What does it smell like? How hot is it? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it just room temperature? What does it smell like? What are the flavors, the smells that you're getting? And then finally, the flavor, the taste, because that's usually the last experience of your food, not the first. So experience your food to slow down and enjoy it more. One of the reasons why you're not losing weight is habit. Do you always have a starter? Do you always have bread? Do you always have a dessert? That's just habit. There is no reason for you not just adding more veg to your plate so you feel fuller. Not ready to give them up yet? Well, how about having a dessert or bread or a starter every other day instead of every day? Just remind yourself, if you're not having it today, you can have it tomorrow. It's worked really well for me in the past when I've been craving something that I've been trying to cut out. And I've just told myself, you can have it tomorrow. You can have it tomorrow. You can have it tomorrow. And it works. And as I just mentioned, one of the reasons why you're not losing weight is you're not getting enough veg. You should have 50% of your plate should be vegetables. Most people are just not getting enough. And that's right. I'm actually telling you to eat more to lose weight. By eating more veg, you'll get more nutrition. You'll feel fuller for longer. You'll have more fiber. It will also reduce cravings between meals. So by eating these veg, you won't have to snack. By having more veg, you will slow down the release of energy so you don't get that post-meal slump. And you don't feel like you need a sugary snack or something to perk you up a bit because you're getting that slow release of energy from the food that you've been eating. One of these things that a lot of people are really put off by when I say this, but resistance training can be one of the reasons why you're not losing weight. Now, this doesn't have to be lifting heavy weights to do resistance training. Just body weight exercises will make a huge difference. The reason being, this will activate the receptors in your muscle fibers, encouraging them to take up glycogen, which is basically the sugar that goes around the body, and protein. And the more glycogen you can store in your muscles, the fuller they look. And the added benefit is that once the muscle has absorbed that glycogen, it's never released to go anywhere else. So it won't turn into fat. And then the more muscle you have, the more calories your body burns, even when you're asleep. So doing a little bit of resistance training, it's so easy. All you need to do is a few squats or push-ups. If push-ups aren't your thing because they're too difficult for you, just do them off the counter of the kitchen work surface. So you're doing them at an angle and just starting off at a lighter sort of level makes a huge, huge difference. Another reason why you might not be losing weight is you're doing a feast and famine. Now, fasting can be a great way to lose weight as long as you don't overcompensate during your refeeding. There are many clients of mine who used to have only one meal a day, but they still struggle to lose weight. I mean, how does that work? They're fasting for most of the day, they're having one meal, and they're still not losing weight. Now, that's because your body could be telling you that this is all the food I'm going to get, so I'm going to make the most of it. And it does what it does best, which is storing as much of the energy from that food as possible because it doesn't know when it's going to get the next meal. So if you encourage your body to do this, it's going to try its darndest to store as much of that food as possible as fat. So what I recommend to my clients that are struggling with this is simply add a small protein-rich breakfast, and that will have a dramatic effect on your weight loss. Because effectively what you're telling your body to do is, it's okay. I am going to feed you. Here's a little bit. And protein is a fantastic thing to be having first thing in the morning because we're going to be very, very short on protein, but also it's got a thermogenic effect. It actually causes us to burn more calories to digest and process protein. So having protein as a light meal in the morning, if you are fasting, is a great way to deal with it. Another reason could be that you're just not getting your steps in. Now, a lack of movement has been likened to being as bad for you as smoking for your health. So you don't need to do 10,000 steps a day, but that would be great. But you should be aiming for at least 4,000 steps a day just to get benefit for weight loss and physical health. Many clients of mine have also expressed how much this has helped their mental health too. Now, some people struggle just sort of thinking for reasons of why they should go outside and do a walk. So I always recommend to combine the walk with another task, make it more enjoyable, and then it's more likely to happen. Now, with a lot of people that are working from home at the moment because of lockdown, I have explained to people that use that walk as your commute, as the break between work and home. Although there is no driving, there is no transport, there's no train, nothing, there is no commute. Use a 5-minute walk to get up, get out, get away from the desk, get away from the computer, get away from what you were doing, and take a 5-minute walk. That's all you need to do. Just start with doing that. it will make a huge, huge difference in so many areas. Sugar and sweeteners. Now, a lot of people already know how bad sugar is for you. So we cut it out. But a lot of people then replace it with other sweet foods or fruit or artificially can't talk artificially sweetened alternatives, which although usually lower in calories, they are full of quite often chemicals. Now, did you know that as soon as a sweetener hits your tongue, your body thinks that it's getting sugar and it starts to produce some insulin? So by using artificial sweeteners, you're actually fooling your body into storing fat, because you're going to have all this excess insulin in your body and not very much sugar to do anything with it. So it's going to just start breaking down proteins and fats and storing those instead. Not what you want. Another reason, poor sleep. Now, shift workers in particular will resonate with this one. Tired people eat approximately 300 calories more per day than someone that's rested. So either get more sleep or have a nap. I love naps. Naps are great. Even if it's just for 30 minutes, I love squeezing in a nap here and there. But otherwise, focus on keeping healthy food, healthy snacks, and water close at hand so that in your dazed sleepiness, you aren't so likely to trip up. Another reason why you're not losing weight is because you're always eating. If you can't remember the last time you actually felt hungry, you're probably having a meal or snacking way too often. Remember that feeling a little bit hungry is okay. It's perfectly normal. If you make sure that you're eating the right nutrition, you won't get hangry and you won't have a low blood sugar episode and you won't feel weak or dizzy. If you do, you're not getting the right nutrition in your main meals. Some people are mistaking hunger for something else, or something else they're mistaking for hunger, rather. Because the body, it's really crap at telling you what it needs. Hungry or thirsty. Maybe you're lacking protein, or maybe you're lacking a certain vitamin. All of these can be mistaken for hunger. Now, often when a client tells me that they had a terrible craving for something, I ask them to look back a few hours and tell me what they had eaten previously in the day, because that's when the mistake happened. Hours ago, not when you're having the craving, but hours before is when you made the mistake of not eating correctly. And the result was the craving hours later. So always look back and think about things. What did you have before? Water is a great substitute for those hunger pangs because quite often, as just said, it's not actually hunger that you have, it's possibly water, dehydration. So whenever you're feeling hungry and you're not due to have a main meal, try water first. It also helps to try a really, really hot drink, herbal teas, or even just boiled water. It's not actually that bad. The heat from the water has a really interesting effect. It's almost like an appetite suppressant. And as it's hydrating as well, you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. So do try water or a really hot drink. Alcohol. I have a lot of clients who, when they first start working with me, refuse to give up alcohol. and after a few weeks, and they may have lost a little bit of weight, they finally cave and they give it a go. And they notice how much weight they immediately start losing. I'm sorry, but most of us are just drinking way too much alcohol. Now, a little every so often does have health benefits. It can reduce your bad cholesterol. No, actually, it increases your good cholesterol, and helps you relax. So yes, having a little bit of alcohol does have its benefits, but, and it's a big but, when you have a specific goal in mind, like losing weight, you're just adding empty calories and causing your liver to have to deal with a poison when it could be working far more effectively if it was just allowed to focus on the good nutrition that you should be having. So cut it down, one a day, or even better, one every other day. Or if you're struggling with that as well, completely cut out alcohol until you are on track. Now, if you can't cut out alcohol, I'm afraid you've got a bigger problem that you'd like to admit. And that's something you might need to think about. Rapid weight loss could be a major reason why you're not losing weight now. So, people on the Biggest Loser show had damaged their metabolism so much that for years after the show, they have to consume up to 500 calories less than somebody else of the same weight as them. Because they lost their weight too fast, this is the result of what's ended up happening to them. Now, I know that everybody thinks, they want to lose weight fast, but this is just another marketing trick that we've been fooled into, thinking that losing weight fast is success. Whereas actually losing 1 to 2 pounds, which is half a kilo to 1 kilo a week, is actually the perfect amount to lose. And that's on average as well. So some weeks you won't lose any, but over a period of time, on average, 1 to 2 pounds is absolutely perfect. So, focusing too much on your weight can be your biggest downfall. I want you to focus on just eating better. Try new foods. I recommend to my clients to go to the supermarket and buy one new veg that they've never tried before or haven't tried for ages. Google it, have a look, see how to cook it, and try a new food every week. That's going to be 52 new foods every single year. Enjoy other activities that aren't based on food. Social activities don't have to be all about food. They can be about a walk in the park, a stroll, a video conversation, something. Just think about what else you can do that isn't based around food. So I'm going to do the Q&A now, and I'm going to go through some of the comments that I've seen have come in, and I'll give you a little time to put some comments, some questions in the comments box. And whilst I'm waiting for you to do that, I'm going to play a little bit of a commercial break advert for my services. So it's going to be about 90 seconds. So you've got 90 seconds to post your comments, questions, whatever it is in the comments box. And I'll come back to you after this message. I'm Paul Bailey and I'm a qualified nutrition coach. I take a more holistic approach to health, focusing on nutrition, but also fitness and, even more importantly, mindset, which includes stress management, confidence building, and of course, self-care. I've struggled with being that skinny, scrawny kid to being an overweight adult and everywhere in between. I've tried every fad diet and workout routine, but ended up having my cholesterol spiraling out of control and suffering from poor self-image. Until I decided I was going to have to take a more science-backed approach to my health. Through my one-to-one coaching, I've helped hundreds of guys like you learn to love food again without guilt or shame, and still be able to lose weight and get rid of that belly, get fitter and healthier. None of them feel like they're missing out because no food is off the menu. That's because it's more about the quantity and quality of what you eat. I help them keep on track no matter what life throws at them. Whether you have yet to start, or you've already made some progress, or you're looking to really push yourself to a whole new level, I can help. So, if you're fed up with yo-yo dieting, struggling with diabetes, high blood pressure or cholesterol, or just want to get healthier generally, get in touch and find out how easy eating healthier can be. So we've had a couple of questions come in, and let's have a look. I'll go in reverse order, probably be a bit easier for me. So focusing on protein, does calorie intake need to be lowered? So by eating protein technically is lower in calories than, say, carbohydrates or fat anyway. So having a higher intake of protein, not only is it going to reduce your calorie intake, it's going to make you feel fuller for longer. It's going to have a thermogenic effect, which means that your body has to burn more calories to process the protein. So I would recommend having about 20 grams of protein per meal, so about 60 grams per day. But to make it easier for you, a quarter of your plate should be protein. Green versus black tea, not a huge difference. There's slightly more good nutrients in green tea, but it's so minimal, it really doesn't make an awful lot of difference. So green tea, black tea, absolutely fine. And having it really hot is a great appetite suppressant. So I definitely would recommend either of those anyway. Stephen says, how are raw veggies like 6 baby carrots too starchy? So starch, there's different types of starch. It's the starch in raw vegetables tend to be quite sort of resistant starch, which are the slow release starches. So that's usually a good kind of starch to have. I would be very happy with 6 baby carrots, absolutely fine. Normally, if I was having hummus, I would have carrots, celery, cucumber, those sorts of things. Great snacks. Really, really, definitely worth you munching on those. So veggies, yeah, go ahead. Raw carrots, absolutely. What about artificial sweeteners, says Don? I usually don't use them, but good, bad. I'd rather that you got your sweetness from somewhere natural, but try not to rely on sweetness. So, for example, if I had a really well strained Greek yogurt, it's going to be quite tart because a lot of the lactose has been removed, which is the sugar. So you're going to need something to give it a little bit of sweetness. So traditionally with Greek yogurt, you'll have a teaspoon of honey. What you could use as an alternative is some agave syrup, which is still a natural sweetener. It comes from a cactus. But the best one that I prefer is to get some frozen berries, zap them in the microwave, bung them in. They will add their own natural sweetness and a really great color too. As I mentioned earlier on, artificial sweeteners still provoke a small insulin response. So you kind of want to avoid those as much as you possibly can. If you can't do without it, just try and use as little as possible. What else do we have here? Raphael, I have dieted for 4.5 years, and at the beginning I was 120 kilos. Now 86 kilos. Brilliant. Wow, that's amazing. I'm thinking to leave the meat. So where can I get good protein? So a lot of my vegetarian clients and vegan clients, obviously they don't have animal protein. So if they aren't looking to lose weight at the moment or gain muscle, then actually you can get a lot of protein from vegetables, from legumes, from beans, from chickpeas, things like that. Mixing grain and the legumes together gives you a complete protein. So that would be the best way for you to get that, by using grain and legumes together to get a complete protein. You can also get complete protein from other things like tofu, like quinoa. There's loads of other bits and pieces like that. If you're not looking to lose any more weight, broccoli's got loads of protein in it. Kale has got loads of protein in it. It's not a complete protein, but it's got most of the essential amino acids in there. So mixing up what you've got, if you're not looking to lose any more weight, you'll get a lot of your protein from the vegetables anyway. If you are looking to lose a little bit more weight, you will need to boost that with some tofu, with some seitan, with something like that. If you are really struggling to get enough protein in your diet and you are looking to still lose weight, get a vegan protein powder and have a smoothie first thing in the morning. Then at least you've had that first dose first thing in the morning. You're good to go. The rest of the protein should come naturally through your diet anyway. So I think that is about it. I don't see any more questions. If you do have any more questions, please do go ahead and post them in the comments box. I will review them after, and I'll pop back into the comments and answer them myself personally. Just had one more come in. Okay, I need this protein for muscles. Yeah, okay. So if you're going to need to build muscle, you will need extra protein. A vegan or vegetarian diet will not give you enough protein to build muscles. So you are going to have to rely on extra protein from tofu, extra protein from vegan protein powders, things like that. So you will need to seriously look at how much protein you're getting. Fill out the MyFitnessPal to work out how much protein you're getting in your foods and make sure that you're getting enough. You don't need to go crazy, but I would love to see at least 20 grams of protein in each meal that you're having. All right, I think that's about it, guys. If you do have any other questions, again, just post them in the comments box and I will reply to them in the very near future. I hope you found this useful, and please do get in touch. If you're feeling a bit stuck and you need some help, you know where to find me. All right, take care, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.